Hello and welcome to Mediumship Matters with me, Hannah McIntyre. And I've got another Mediumship Mini for you. Today I'm answering a question from Stephen, who wants to know about talking animals. He says, "Hi Hannah, in one of your recent YouTube podcasts, you talked about the first time communicating with babies. They were able to communicate as adults, I think you said, and that was a surprise. I've had visions where I'm talking to babies, so I get that. But does the same thing happen with animals? Dogs, cats, etc. I was recently greeted by a talking tiger, and I'm trying to figure out if it was an actual spirit. During the last 6 months or so, I have experienced talking babies and talking animals. By the way, I love your listener questions on your podcast videos." Well, Stephen, absolutely yes. And I think it's important to understand how mediumship works. So spirit, whether it's a human or an animal or a baby, which is also human, I'm aware, but you know what I mean, an adult or a baby, the spirit world no longer have a voice box. So they are not communicating with us through voice. And people seem to not understand this. It seems to be this expectation from sitters, certainly, where they think you're talking to their loved one in spirit, but you're not. You may perceive the information that you are receiving as words, but it doesn't mean that they are speaking to you in words. So they are sending you an energy and you are perceiving it through your different clairs, whether you're hearing it, feeling it, emoting it, seeing it, smelling it, tasting it, you're still perceiving that energy. And that's why we have to use spirit boxes and things like that to get a voice from the spirit world, because they can't actually speak to us. And this is important to understand as well. I've got something really brewing here about language and the limitations of language, because it's your language, because your brain is interpreting that energy as words. They are not putting words in your brain is interpreting the energy. And so yes, exactly that. You can communicate with animals, you can communicate. I've had the most glorious messages from trees. I was on the school run once. I'll put my teeth in, and there was a tree there that I just started talking to, and it felt like talking, but I know it was an energy exchange. And that tree just gave me such beautiful information. It was like being hypnotized, and I went off so far with it, and then I realized I was on the school run and actually looked like a nutcase. But it is absolutely incredible the way that we can receive information. I'm not an animal communicator. It's not a forte of mine, but it has happened. I did a live once on Facebook where somebody's cat just walked in, and I could feel it walk across my desk where I was working in front of my computer, and gave me great evidence of its existence, which was really, really cool to me. But that's not my forte. I'm not an animal communicator going forward. So I think it can happen if it's something you want to develop. Like all aspects of mediumship, it's practice. It's learning to communicate with that energy, learning to understand and interpret and perceive and receive that energy. And that takes time and effort. And animals, for me, have never been where I'm drawn. I like animals, but it's just, that's not my area that I want to work in at the moment. But I know that if I did, what I would need to do is practice, get used to perceiving and receiving it, build that mental muscle, build that energetic muscle, and then it would become easier. And so, yeah, I definitely think a talking tiger is spirit. One of my spirit guides, which I may have mentioned to you guys before, is a fox. And it's a auburn fox with black feet. It hasn't got white on it. It's got black feet and a black snoot. And I can talk to it like I talked to the guides that present as humans. And it would come and sit on my lap, and I could smell its strange, I'd never smelled a smell like it, the smell of a fox. And I could feel its fur under my hands when I stroked it, and it would talk to me and give me the advice that I needed. and the comfort and the warmth of its presence. So I'm not surprised you've been greeted by a talking tiger, and that sounds amazing and just makes me think of the tiger that came to Tea Book. So you better get a massive tin of tiger food in so it doesn't eat you out of house and home. But yeah, it's incredible. I think we are so limited by our human perception of how we receive spirit, and there's just this world out there that none of us are opening up to that is absolutely amazing. So I hope that makes sense. And if you've got any further comments or questions, please do email podcast@hannahmedium.co.uk.